Thanksgiving traditionally is a Native American holiday, and they had it 3 times a year. There were 3 harvests every year. And so they would have this huge feast. It's a ceremony actually, where they get the best looking vegetables that they grew, that they harvested. They'll get the best looking squash, the best looking pumpkin, the best looking tomato and potato and everything, carrot and corn. They get the best looking one, and they have a ceremony and they give it to the earth as a thanks. Thank you, Mother Earth, for helping us. They thank the water, they thank the sun, they thank the air, that all of this worked together so that they cultivated their crops and they had a good harvest. So they're very thankful for that. And there's a big ceremony that they do when they do this. This is Thanksgiving. In the beginning, it's a Native American holiday. And then when the Pilgrims came, the Europeans, they tried to grow the crops that grow in Europe, but they didn't take. They did not grow. So winter was coming, and the Pilgrims have nothing. They're harvesting, and nothing is growing. And so they had a meeting with the leaders, the Indian leaders and the Pilgrim leaders, and they said, "Well, we'll make you a deal." They said, "We'll teach you what to grow." He said, "These European crops, maybe they grow in Europe, but the land is different over there. The temperatures, the climate is different over there. And here, you have to grow what we grow," they said, "and we can teach you how to do that. But you have to do something for us too." So it was an exchange. So they made an agreement, in exchange for tools and whatever, materials. And the Indians taught these guys how to farm in America. So in the beginning, it was a nice thing. And it wasn't perfect though. Okay, it's not perfect. I'm not saying it's all happy sunshine, fruity rainbows. I'm not saying that. Dolphins jumping out of the water and smiling at everybody. It wasn't that way. No, no. There were difficulties because you're talking about two vastly different cultures, and there were clashes. It wasn't a sunshiny thing, but they had an agreement. So these white guys learned how they became successful at farming all these things. So all you white people in America, and you're sitting down, you're eating lettuce, you're eating corn, you're eating carrots, you're eating beets, you're eating potatoes, you're eating um, excuse me, corn. You know, when you're from the res, you say corn. I want some corn. You got any corn? That's res English. Oh my gosh! But all of those vegetables that you're eating, that comes from Indian people. Yeah, those are crops that were grown in America, North America. Keep that in mind. Yeah, all you vegetarians who just love your vegetables, keep that in mind that a lot of this stuff comes from Native American people. You should thank them. Yeah, that they were able to pass that on to your ancestors. Yeah. So more Europeans started to come, and the Indians started to say, "Oh no, there goes the neighborhood." Somebody probably said that. Oh man, there's more coming. um, Yeah, but more and more and more and more Europeans start coming to North America, and they want more. Yeah, they need more land, they need more whatever, and in the beginning they made agreements with various tribes, but like true Donald Trump like business men, they broke their word, and that's when the trouble started. Yeah, they broke their word to the Indian people. But you always have to remember, not all Indians are the same. Not all white people are the same either. There were some white people that were trying to stop the other white people. This is the honest to goodness truth. There were some white people that were trying to stop the politicians. They're saying, "Hey, these Indians, if it weren't for them, we would have died. We need to keep our word to them." Yeah. So there were some white people that were fighting for Indian rights. Unfortunately, there was only a few. Yeah, it was only a few white people that were fighting for for the rights of Indians. So they got defeated, and then they went on, and then the bad stuff happened. Yeah. Then they made laws saying, that it's encouraged to kill Indians, that Indians are not humans, and then this thing started where they killed a bunch of Indians, and they cut their heads off and put their heads on poles around their community, and they gave thanks to God that that this land is theirs. That's the complete story. So when you're going to learn about Thanksgiving, you need to learn the complete story. You can't just focus on one part. Like the radical Native American racist activists, they only focus on that end, what I just told you. They only focus on that part. And your happy go lucky white people, they only focus on the beginning. That nobody even touches that middle part of the story. Yeah, and nobody, how almost nobody even looks at the complete story. Yeah, so I'm just giving this to you in a kind of in a small summation. Next week I'll talk about the complete. I do a whole show on that. Yeah, but this is essentially what happened. So Thanksgiving is a Native American holiday. Yeah, they had it 3 times a year. And the early Americans, they weren't Americans yet, because there was no America yet. They were still under British rule. They're called colonists. The colonists, they changed this to something else for themselves. But really, its origination is in Native America. It's a beautiful thing. So when I celebrate Thanksgiving, but I do it the native way. Yeah, to me I eat a nice bird. Yeah, but this year I'm scared of the birds. Yeah, because of the in Germany they found a place that has a strain of bird flu, and in some of the barns, I mean the farms, they had to kill a lot of chickens and a lot of turkeys because you can't take that chance. Yeah, when if one bird has the bird flu, they have to destroy the entire flock because it could be anywhere, and you can't take that chance at poisoning the entire nation. Yeah, it's sad. Yeah, because they have to wipe out tens of thousands of chickens and turkeys. So this year I'm hesitant. Yeah, I'm hesitant at eating a bird. I get a big old gigantic chicken and I roast it in the oven garlic and lemons and rosemary and ooh, that's good stuff. Yeah, and I have stuffing with that and mashed potatoes and mm. The only thing I don't know how to make is pumpkin pie. Yeah, I really miss pumpkin pie. Just think, people, I've lived in Germany for 14 and a half years. Nah, 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 no, that's not right. Yes, no, no, 12, 12 and a half years, not 14. 2004 I came. So 12, I've been living in Germany for 12 and a half years, and I've never had a pumpkin pie since 2003. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could eat pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie and whipped cream. I so miss that. Yeah. I have to learn how to make it. And I talked to a German girl and she said, "Oh yeah, I know how to make pumpkin pie." She the way Germans make pumpkin pie is just horrible. It's just horrendous. No, I want American pumpkin pie and American whipped cream. It's not the same as they have over here. Yeah. So something I really miss. Some maybe one day I should do that. Just fly back to America just for Thanksgiving, so I can have a butterball turkey and homemade stuffing and homemade mashed potatoes and turkey gravy and homemade pumpkin pie and maybe I should do that one day. Yeah, I gotta contact one of my American friends and say, hey, can you put me up for Thanksgiving? Something like that. Shoot. Excuse me. But anyway, I when I celebrate this, I do it the native way. Yeah, I give special thanks to the earth, to the air, the wind, the the sun, the water for, for life, for everything that we have. This is something we should do every day anyway, but for Thanksgiving I do this, yeah. And then I give thanks for the bird that I'm about to devour. And I give thanks to the vegetables too, because in the native way, vegetables are people too. They're just a different kind of people. Yeah, the plants, they communicate. They communicate in a different way. Yeah, they have a different way, but they are people too. They are a nation. So we can say one wachcha oyate, yeah, the flower nation. And another way to say that is wanachcha. It's another way to say the same word. It's for flower. Wachcha oyate, the flower people. Now, I'm not talking about hippies. Yeah, I'm talking about actual flowers. They communicate. And for those of you who have plants, when you talk to your plants, eventually you begin to see how they respond. Yeah, they feel you. That's because they're alive. Of course they're alive. Yeah. So we give thanks to the plants for our food too. See, this is something. This is what I don't like about vegetarians, because vegetarians, they'll say, "Well, I can't eat. I'm not gonna eat any meat because that's a living, growing thing, and I'm not gonna eat that, and my body doesn't need that," and that kind of nonsense. Then they just devour vegetables like nothing, but they don't realize vegetables are people too. So you have to give thanks when you take one. Yeah, you give thanks and you promise that you will live a good life and you will feed anybody who comes to your house who's hungry, that you will feed them with that food. This also includes vegetables. You give thanks to the vegetables because they're nations. That's the native way. So I know a lot of vegetarians. They like to say, "Well, yeah, we take vegetables when they're ripe. That's when their life is over." No, it's not. When a vegetable or fruit is ripe, their life is not over. They're in what you call their prime. They're not finished. So you are taking a life. That's why in the native way, you give something back. When I was a little boy, in the summertime, around July, August, my mother would go chokecherry picking because that's when they're ripe. And when we go, she knows where all the good places are out in the country where she grew up. So we'd travel, we'd pack a picnic basket, because we're going to be out there all day. So she'd pack a picnic basket of home fried chicken and potato salad and some, or maybe boiled potatoes, not potato salad, but boiled potatoes, a watermelon, a fresh watermelon, and then we would go out into the wilderness, out into the country, and drive the car way out in the middle of nowhere to all these creeks and where the cherry trees are, and then we would start picking chokecherries. She had all these plastic pails, and in America you have these 1 gallon ice cream pails, and that's what they use, and you fill them up with chokecherries. And one time she did. We were at this big tree, a chokecherry tree, and she said a prayer in Lakota, and then she broke a branch off, a complete branch, and she gave it to me. She said, "That here, go. You can go sit over there, and you can walk around and play, and you have a branch, and there's chokecherries on it." It was so cool. Yes, I had this tree branch, and with all these they hang like grapes. Yeah, they look like miniature grapes. In French, chérie, how do you say that? Raisin, something like that. They have all. It looks like mini grapes. Yeah, and so you have this tree branch, and there's a whole bunch of choke cherries on there, and it makes you feel good. Yeah, because you have all the sweetness. This is nature sweets, not candy bars. There's no candy bars. We didn't eat candy bars when we were kids. We didn't eat chocolate when we were kids. We ate choke cherries and plums. That's what we ate. Yeah, we would go out into the country and with our parents, and when the fruits are ripe, that's when they go plum picking and choke cherry picking. This is what we had. We didn't have, computers, smartphones, and cable TV. We had our bicycles, and we would go, pick choke cherries, pick plums, go fishing, sometimes ride horse, you know, go swimming. That was our summer. I'm so glad that I experienced that because that's what makes you strong. Yeah? That's what makes you strong, and you have a strong mind too. But today's kids, they just play with video games and on the smartphone, on the computer, listen to this rap shit, trying to act all tough. They don't have any clue. And I think when they do that, they're sick. Because look at all the poison they're putting in their body. They're just young, 2, 3, 4 years old, and all they're eating is potato chips and candy bars and orange pop. This is what they're they're programming, they're poisoning their body with, and I don't really think they can be happy because they're sick. They're already sick. They don't run around. They don't go out into nature. They don't climb trees. They don't swim. They don't go canoeing. They don't go fishing. They don't go running around. They're all just stay in their home and play on the computer and play on. and eat junk food all day long. You have a bunch of old obese kids walking around. That's sad. So I'm glad I grew up when I grew up. Yeah, during that time period, picking chokecherries. Oh, that was nice. Yeah, but my mom would, before she would break a branch, she would say a prayer. Yeah, and later she asked her about that, and she said, "Yeah, these are people." She said, "We're taking we're taking some people. These cherries. These are people. So we have to apologize, and we have to say thank you, and we have to promise that we're going to eat, and we're going to feed anybody who is hungry." That's what she said. So in those days, that's what the ladies did. Yeah, they would say these prayers before, and sometimes they sing a song too when you pick choke cherries. Yeah, and then when you're done, you say thank you. You say your vows that you'll feed people with this, because from choke cherries comes wojapi and wasna. Wasna is choke cherries and deer meat, dried deer meat. Yeah, you get some deer meat, dried deer meat, and you pound it until it's like a powder, and then you mix some choke cherries in there and mix it all together. Oh my God, that is. I haven't eaten wasna since 2002, I think. Yeah. 14 and a half years since I've had wasna. Ah, that's like a candy bar, yeah. That's a Lakota candy bar. Seriously, because what you do is with this pounded deer meat, you mix some choke cherries in there. And you mix it all together and pound it up. Even the seeds, yeah, you pound the choke cherry seeds because this adds a flavor. Huh? So you're pounding all of that up, you mix it together, and then you put it in some place cool. Long time ago in the ancient times, they put it under the ground. Yeah, but today people put it in their refrigerator or their basement. It has to be a cool place, and you have to let it sit there for about a day or two. Then after that, it's ready to eat. It's like a candy bar, but there's nothing bad in this candy bar. It's all good food. It's cherries and deer meat. No additives. Yeah, that's how I grew up. But today, when people make wasna, they put sugar in it because people need their sugar today. Yeah, so it's really sad. I myself, I don't really like to eat wasna that has sugar in it because to me, that's not wasna. You might as well go buy a candy bar. Yeah, because to me, it doesn't taste right. When you have wasna with sugar, it just doesn't taste right. Same thing for wojapi. Wojapi is when you ground up cherries, choke cherries, you ground it up with a rock, yeah, and then you smash it all up until it's like all like a liquid, and it's like like hamburger, yeah. And then excuse me, and then you make patties, yeah, like hamburger patties, and then you put sticks around it and you dry it in the sun. And this you dry it, then you put it in someplace cool, and then later you boil it. Yeah, you boil some water, and you put these patties in there till they soften. And today people put pieces of bread in there too, and uh, and then you boil this and mix it together, and voila, you have wojapi. Yeah, mm, mm. Chokecherry wojapi. Mm. And then with fry bread, yeah. Fry bread is not traditional, but but you mix that fry bread with wojapi, and oh my God, that is just uh, 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 wojapi. Wojapin wiggly unkaha pikilila loachin yellow. Um, that means I'm really hungry for wojapi and fry bread.
Wiggly unkahape Yata hata wanit akite Wojapi Yata hata iyo nipite When you eat fried bread, it really makes you strong. When you eat chokecherry pudding, it really makes you feel good. Ahuya pile prupala na choyari. Goja pile lila kuyela. Lena wo you teki lila o you wate. Wo you tele na yata hata. Tuwekes wate ya la kingse. Wate ya la kingse. Weekly unkahapi. Hematas aleta. Wojapi. Hematas aleta. This bread is soft and really nice and brown. The chokecherry pudding is so sweet. When you eat them together, it's better than chocolate. When you eat this food, you can fall in love with anyone you want to. With anyone you want to. Taste delicious fried bread. This is what I like. Chokecherry pudding. This is what I like. Ahuya pile prapala na choyari. Woja pile lila kuyela. Lena wo you teki lila o you wate. Wo you tele na yata hata. Tuwekes wate ya la kingse. Wate ya la kingse. Wate ya la kingse. Wate ya la kingse.
Hey Samir, watch me. Look what I can do.
Hey, you silly boy. What are you trying to do? Don't you know before you can run, you have to know how to walk? Like that.